Welcome to the Imperfect Dads podcast.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Devin.
We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids,
but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like.
Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood.
And how they feel like they're holding it all together.
Or how they're not.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on Brandon Carswell from the podcast WorkTapes. We talk about how we started WorkTapes, a podcast where he talks to songwriters about their writing process, the challenges from having kids in school during the COVID years, how he approaches co-parenting, and how he navigates social media for his sons. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad.
So you have to be a dad.
Yeah. Justin, did you ask if Brandon was a dad?
The Imperfect Dads.
No one asked me if I was a dad.
I did ask you.
Justin, you've done this before. Brandon, are you a father?
I'm my dad. I'm a dad.
Okay, that's good.
I worked for Peachtree Landscape. Brandon was doing some work with, I guess, one of his friends, helping him out during a vendor palooza thing for like a property management company.
Uh-huh.
And we were waiting for coffee like forever. Me and Brandon were. And we just started chit-chatting. And we started talking about podcasts. I can't remember if you said that you had a podcast first or that I had a podcast first. And we were like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But yeah, I was like, all right, well, let's have you on and learn more about you and hear about WorkTapes, which is your podcast, and what's that all about as well. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. It'll be good.
Which is funny because like whenever Justin was like, oh, hey, we should have this guy on, I just met him and everything. It was like, oh, because we have shared guests, we've had on Matt Carney and Dave Barnes. You also have. So your stuff was already starting to appear on our feeds. And I was like, I've been watching his clips. Like, yeah, that guy seems like he's doing a cool thing. Let's have him on.
Good to know it works. I don't ever know if it's working.
Dude, I mean, we'll try to talk about dad life, but podcast life as well. We're like, well, I released the episode. Did anyone listen to it? According to the numbers, people downloaded it. I'm assuming that means they listened to it as well.
It made something.
Yeah.
I think you just keep going. You just keep doing it and then see what happens.
So you, Brandon, how long have you been doing WorkTapes for?
I've done it on and off since 2020.
Okay,
cool. I took a couple of breaks in the middle there, but
how long of breaks did you end up taking?
I don't remember. Let me think. I started in 2020 just because of the pandemic, being stuck at the house.
Gotcha.
And then as a songwriter myself, thinking about other songwriters being stuck at home. How are they writing, co-writing? I think it was probably a pretty good for some songwriters to be able to hole up and just write.
Yeah.
But a bad time for those who wanted to co-write. So I was just in my head, like, what can I do to help writers or just like get together and do something online? And this idea of a podcast kind of came into my head, but I didn't really have it fleshed out. And so I just kind of stewed on it for a little while. And then I thought, kind of, what do I like to do as far as music goes? And one of the things I geek out about is hearing the kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff. So I love those documentaries where they're going through how a record was made, and you can hear. I remember being younger and watching one of the Metallica documentaries.
Yeah.
And they were in the studio recording the Black Album. And I watched that a bunch, just loving the moments you don't get to hear on the record. And so I thought, that could be a cool idea for a podcast where we listen to demos of songs that are out, and professionally speaking, they're called WorkTapes. So I mean, a work tape could be thought of like a rough draft if you're writing a book or a chapter. This is your rough draft. There is a difference, I guess, between WorkTapes and demos technically, but they also kind of fall into the same category where I think either one could be the other, depending on how you're presenting it. So you write a song, you record it on your phone, or you used to work tape it in the studio. So it's your first draft. As a songwriter, might work tape a song so that you can pitch it to an artist to get picked up. And so I thought, this could be cool. I don't know. I kind of geek out about it. So I just started knowing zero about podcasting and also feeling very like impostery on it because everyone
Yeah.
had a podcast and like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just going to be another thing. I'm just adding noise. That was a big struggle. And sometimes still is. Am I just adding more noise out there in a world where we don't need more noise? Um, and, but I just kept doing it. So I started literally with my own songs. The first episode is a song I wrote and just kind of 20 minutes of me talking about that song and listening to the original work tape. And then being in Nashville as long as I have, I just know a lot of writers. And I just started asking my friends if they'd be on and they liked the idea. So we just kept doing it and it morphed into the video thing, which is this
Yeah.
giant headache. And
That's a real production, by the way.
it is.
Your episodes are like, this is so much more casual compared to what you do
I
for
would
your
rather
podcast.
do this. I would rather do this. It's a lot of work, but it's
Yeah.
something that is really rewarding on my end. My brother helps me with a lot of the filming and editing. So it's cool that we can work together. Again, we used to work together in a band doing music and records, but it's cool we can do that as we have the time to do it. It's also really cool to do work with other artists and meet new people that become friends and find old friends of mine who have since blown up or done something great in their work and to just talk to them just like this about a
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
And then just hear from other people about, people like it. They seem to like it and resonate with it for some reason. Maybe it's just the same reason I like it. I don't know. I don't know why I'm on this podcast. I don't get it. But I'm here and I'm going to show up if things are working, I'll show up.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Brandon, you were doing like when we met, you were doing a video for your friend who is a pressure
Yeah, yeah.
washer. So do you do video out of the Work Tapes podcast scene
Yeah,
as
a little
well?
bit. I help him predominantly with social media and some organizational, like kind of executive assistant kind of stuff. It's pseudo full time, but it's just something that, Justin, as you start a business, it starts to take over your entire life and you don't have time for anything at some point and you have to start subbing out the works. He's called on me for several things, which I'm happy to do. His pressure washing company is called the Pressure Washing Dude. He's also a dad. You should have him on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Sweet. All
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. Dude, this guy is like
he's
jacked
jacked.
and
He's
like
a cowboy.
chiseled. He's got a perfect bone structure and everything.
He'll
Gosh.
love hearing that.
And he's got a little cowboy hat
It's
on.
not little. It's real. He is
Oh, that's
legitimately
Does he
right.
have a Stetson? Like a real, like
probably.
a big
Probably.
hat?
I don't
Yeah.
know the brand
Huh.
name, but it's
Yeah.
legit. He also comes from music and he'd be great to talk to because he kind of, I won't tell his whole story, but COVID also kind of messed up his music career and he had to pivot and figure it out. And then all of the figuring out, he had a daughter and so he's got to juggle all this stuff and he's a single dad like I am. And we're just trying to figure it out. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been surprisingly easy to get guests.
Good.
Yeah.
There's a few people that haven't responded over the years, and a few people that I would love to get where maybe 5 years ago I would have been like, I'll never be able to get those people. And now I think I can,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's,
cool.
Well, that's pretty much how we
yeah,
work as well. We've been very surprised by some of the people that have come on and we are very grateful for
I
that.
think you just
And
have to
but
ask. I mean, honestly,
That's it. Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty
you
much.
just say, here's the deal. And people like to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much.
what's not, why wouldn't I come on I'm Perfect Dads?
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
perfect.
That's right. We're here to learn about Justin and I don't know how to be perfect dads, and we assumed,
no.
Brandon, that you would tell us how to be a perfect father.
Oh,
That's what
that's
we're
your
hoping for.
logo. I'm perfect.
That's
So you're
right.
just doing Perfect Dads, which
Yes. Oh yeah,
I've
sorry.
mastered.
You've mastered.
Yeah.
Speaking of kids, how many kids do you have and how old
I
are
have
they?
two boys. They're 14 and 11.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So you had to deal with COVID with 2 boys staying at home. I bet that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it wasn't. Sometimes it was. I had already kind of let me think back to COVID. COVID is one of those things that feels like it didn't happen.
It is. I
Yeah,
mean, it feels so.
like a fever dream, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was also
and I can't believe it's been 4 years
You mean 5?
or 5. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow, 5.
Yeah.
Jesus.
yes, let's see, 2017, 2018, 19. All of those years leading up to COVID, I was going through my divorce.
Mhm.
So the icing on the cake for my life at that time was COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't freak out as far as the health aspect of it. That didn't scare me for some reason. I don't know. I just didn't. Laying all the conspiracies aside, I just wasn't worried about it. Like I saw in the very beginning, oh, this could be bad, but I was just
Yeah.
God's in control. This this is what it is, and we don't really know what it is. And so having the kids there was mostly, they were younger at that point, but I mean they weren't in diapers or anything, so it wasn't, the diaper years are hard. Um,
Yes.
but
Yes.
they were still rowdy, dirty as kids are, boys, loud and all of the things, and you're trying to work at the same time. So I think that was the
Yeah.
biggest thing was how do I balance own emotions with going through everything I was going through and work? Like I would set
Yeah.
up my computer in the kitchen and I had an office in the basement, but a lot of times I would just set up in the kitchen because I could see the boys better. And then eventually we put their school stuff down in the basement with me. It was a finished basement. And then I had to figure out how to do remote school with them while I did my work.
Yep.
And my
Yeah.
mom came
Yeah.
into town for, a time. And then, of course, they would switch off to their mom's house. So there was kind of, if I can say anything positive about going through separation, it's you kind of have built in breaks sometimes. It's not a break you really want all the time, but you do have them. So I could kind of rest a little bit in that, but yeah, it was hard. I'm rambling, but
Yeah.
it was
No, you're good.
we did the best we could. And one thing I did during COVID with the kids was, like I said, we had a pretty big basement, and in my office one morning I woke them up and I said, "Hey, I bought you guys a bunch of paint," and my office walls were white, so I took them downstairs and I said, put a tarp on the floor, and I said, "This is your wall. Do
Oh,
whatever you want."
yeah.
And they must have spent 3 or 4 hours. I mean, just hands and I mean, paint was everywhere. But I kept that wall in the house till we sold it. So
That's
That's cool.
awesome.
That's cool.
it looked like a Muppet threw up on it.
Yes. We,
That's awesome. Did you take
Oh yeah.
pictures so you
Yeah.
can look
yeah.
back at it? Good. Good.
We had on Ian White once, and he's the guy who owns like Safe House Tattoos and tattoos there. And he said during COVID, he felt like a butler. Like whenever his
Yeah.
kids were going through school, it's like he was just there on call, super anxious about how the hell do I pay our mortgage this month. And then his daughter would be like, "Hey, what does this mean?" He'd be like, "Oh, sure. Let me go
Yes.
back into teacher mode."
That's what it
Even
was.
though also I haven't learned these subjects in like 30 years, but sure, let me remember how basic English works as I'm also having a mini panic attack
Yeah.
of how do I pay our mortgage this month.
I worked for iHeart at the time, and I would be
Yeah.
on in a meeting and someone would ask me a question and I would say, "Isn't your teacher on Zoom with you right now? Why do you need
Yep.
me? If you were
Yeah.
in school, I wouldn't be there."
Mhm.
It was such a, I kind of wonder still like what kind of damage it did on
Yeah.
the real. Like I think it was such a mess that we had to
Yeah.
do that.
Well, I mean, I think Tennessee was doing like the third graders had to do specific reading tests because they were so worried about what reading level some of their students were at. So they implemented some more testing to be like, hey, we need to get a better gauge of what you've learned because your first year or the COVID years were so that we'll figure it out that it
Yeah.
trying to be aware of like, hey, some kids might be more behind than we realize. So how do we address this? You know, what's your custody for your kids like now, Brandon? Do you have like every other week or so, or what's it look like for you?
I don't know what it is on paper anymore. I forgot.
Okay.
We're pretty flexible. We've tried really hard, and I think to our credit, done a pretty good job of making everything as fair as we can for them over ourselves. So, and that's
That's
still
a great
very
mentality.
difficult because, you know, there are times both of us would be like, I'd like to have the kids right now or whatever. So it's kind of whatever. I mean, if I want
Okay.
to see them right now, I could call them up and go get them. I don't, if they have hard plans, then we respect that and just move on. I think if I could give anybody advice that's going through that kind of thing, it's very hard and almost impossible in the beginning to set your emotions down.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's the biggest thing is put your kids before all the drama and all the mess if you can, if you're capable.
Yeah.
And some people are not, and I get that, I guess. But you have to. You got to put them
Yeah.
before. Best
I've
thing for
heard
them.
some people talk about co-parenting and they're like, they get into a good rhythm, but they are very quick to say it did not start in this rhythm that we're in right now. It took a
Yeah.
while. It took you and your ex-partner reestablishing so many guidelines and having so many conversations of what does your relationship look like now and how do you do what's right for your
I
kids?
have a really hard time accepting the term co-parenting
Okay. Yeah. Tell me why.
just because I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but
Yeah.
I might get in trouble. I might get some text messages. Only
Go for
because,
it.
parenting was built by God and for a certain way. And there are it's you can make decisions together for your kids. You can be friendly together when you're separated and all of those things. You can make efforts to do that. Like me and my ex are not at each other's throats. We don't hate each other. But to say that I'm co-parenting, I don't know. I'm not going to phrase it very well. I think that we have their best interests together, her and I. Even if we were still together, we wouldn't agree on everything, as I'm sure is the case with every single marriage and every single parenting. But I think when you're separated, cooperative parenting, I don't know. I make the rules for my house. She makes them for her house. If my son comes to me and says, I don't like these rules at mom's house, then I go, well, you need to respect your mom. Now, if it's something that is like really like some kind of moral deficit that I would put my foot down on, I guess, but that hasn't happened and I don't think it will. So we're not totally misaligned. So does that make sense? I don't know.
No, it absolutely does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you guys are probably doing a more co-parenting than I'm doing in the same house as your spouse and kids. And so, because you guys really do have to figure out in the moment in real time together a
Yeah.
lot of time.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home dad and my wife travels quite a bit for work and people will be like, "Isn't it so hard when your wife is away?" And I'm like, "It is difficult. It is there's definitely challenges to it." But to some extent, I'm just fully in charge. Like I don't have to like if she gets off work, she's looking for ways like to connect with the kids. We go and do an outing as a family. If she's not here, I'm just like, "Cool, let's eat dinner, let's get clean, let's take a shower, pick up the house a little bit and then go to bed." If she like it's a different flow when she's
Yeah.
here, which it should be. But like, no,
Yeah.
if it's just me and I get to make all the rules and stuff, then it's a different environment than if my wife is home.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a reality.
Yeah, and when they're at my house, it's my thing, and when they're and look, we've had our moments where we've called each other out and
Yeah.
been like, "Hey, why are you letting them do this?" And
Yeah, of
both of
course.
us have done that,
Yeah.
because we're
You get the, well, dad said I could do this.
But that also happens if you still live together and you're
That
married.
is
So like
true.
that doesn't matter.
I'm like, "Look, they're just cigarettes. It's not a big deal.
It was only one pack.
It's a whole pack." Trying to teach them a lesson.
That's right.
No, I don't wanna make it sound like we don't do that. I just wrestle with that term a little bit. Like, we're very flexible and cooperative. And like I said, we do that for them. And to be honest, I think we do it some for our own peace of mind too, because
Yeah.
if we were just at each other's throat and disagreeing for the sake of, well, you did this to me and I did this to you, and we just held on to that forever, it's not good for anybody. It ends up
No.
hurting any other
Yeah.
relationships we
Oh,
have.
and it's just
It's
miserable.
awful.
Like,
Well,
Yeah, why
I've
would you
told her
wanna continue in that
yeah, and
misery?
I've told her just even recently, it blows my mind. I know people that are divorced that have these very rigid, and maybe rightly so, these very rigid schedules and guidelines, and they don't deviate whatsoever, no question. And they have to do that. It's just so every now and again I'll text her and I'll say, I appreciate that we don't have to, like, we're not there. Like, it's just not a
Yeah,
thing. And I think as my kids get older, and get more independence, I have a 14-year-old, like, he's all teen already, and independence is huge. And us having to navigate that, um, as parents, being separated is its own other thing. So,
yeah,
uh, I listened to your episode with Matt Carney. So my my beef with Matt would be that, he says that, what did he say, that it gets easier or harder or it doesn't change or something?
Yeah, he said since he has 3 kids and they're, like, just now getting out of diapers, he's like, "Oh, he was like, "This is getting so much better. This is so much easier than it was
Okay.
because his kids aren't teenagers yet." So, it's that
yeah,
beautiful gap of they have some independence, they still want your approval, but they aren't teenagers yet.
yeah,
He didn't believe that it still gets harder or something. Is that what it was?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
probably. You gotta be real and know that it ebbs and
Dude, it
flows for
ebbs and
sure.
flows. I think you're trading diapers out for reasoning. When your kids start to reason with you, there's not a more visceral anger when they're kind of right,
Yep.
but you also made the rule, so you have to stand in it and you have to put your foot down.
Yeah,
But they're right,
Yep.
and you have to
Yep.
go, yeah, you're right, but you're still grounded or whatever.
Yes. My mom always told me, she was like, because I'm one of 3 kids, I'm the youngest of 3, and she was like, "It really sucks having smart kids. If you guys didn't think so critically and logically about things, my job as a parent would have been so much easier because you would just obeyed, listened to me, not actually thought about all the flaws in my
Yes.
argument." And
That's
I'm
why
like,
it's so good to raise kids to be funny, because if they're smart and
"Yes, yep,
funny, then you're just winning.
pretty much."
My kids are really funny. I enjoy my time with them. It's, we have our disagreements, but overall it's really fun and great as they get older.
I think it's awesome whenever your kid realizes they know how to make you laugh. And then, because whenever you do like your genuine laugh, you're like, your surprise laughed in front of your kid because it's something they did. And then you see the light in their
Yeah.
eyes whenever they realize they can get that reaction out of
Oh,
you.
which is great at my house because I'm not like a big smiler. Like, I have to really
Yeah.
make myself smile. It doesn't mean I'm not happy. It's just my face and I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when that happens, I know my 11-year-old is always like kind of leaning in, like,
Yeah.
why was
Gotcha.
that funny? Let me figure this
Yeah.
out.
you brought him joy,
Yeah.
man. You brought him joy.
It is a special moment, like whenever your kids do get that old in which they can understand you and read you a little bit. And then you also like, it also scares me at the same time because it means my kids are understanding my like strengths and weaknesses a little bit. So
Yes.
double-edged sword always.
Yes. Yeah. I have an arguer. I won't say which one, but he's very argumentative toward me, and he pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes. And I have to tell him that, like, here's the deal.
But you know what? That gives some excitement. I feel like that
You're never
would.
bored.
Yeah,
Never
never
bored.
bored.
Never bored.
Speaking for your 2 kids, what do they like to do? Are they into songwriting and music like you are? Or
Yeah, they're not into writing yet, I don't think. I mean, I started writing when I was 13, so right about their
wow.
age now, and they've been into guitar for the last couple years, and they haven't shown any signs of stopping, and they're pretty good at it. And I think they can both sing. I know one of them definitely can, just because I've caught them humming. And if I say too much about either of them, they're going to be mad at me. Uh, so I just won't tell them that I did this.
I've told Justin this. So I have a 9-year-old daughter, 7-year-old daughter, and 3-year-old son. And my 3-year-old son is at this phase where he doesn't like positive reinforcement.
Okay.
So like
Mhm.
yesterday, he like had spilled water on himself because we were playing outside or something. And he went inside, got changed, and came. And I was like, "Oh, thanks, Josh. Good job." And he's like, I didn't want you to say good
Yeah.
job." And I'm like, I don't.
Too bad.
What am I supposed to do with that, man?
Too bad. You did a good job.
It's really helpful.
Uh, yeah, Ada's no, no. Like, you are gorgeous, little girl. No, I'm not. I'm like, okay, you're
Fine. You're
not.
not. You
Whatever.
can't say that to me. Oh, okay. All right.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
I think it's interesting to raise kids like in the phone world, in the smartphone world,
Mhm.
social media world. Um, it's it's terrifying. What I think
Yeah,
is interesting with both of them, I guess, went through this. My 14-year-old is kind of less, he kind of cares less right now, but that's kind of about everything. But like if I want to take pictures of them, my 11-year-old doesn't ever want me to. And what it used to be like when I grew up was, oh, if mom wants to take pictures, you're taking pictures. But now I'm really careful about respecting his deal on that because I think in his mind, he assumes I'm going to post it.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty careful about posting pictures. I post a couple here and there, like on their birthday, maybe. And that's about it. It's just kind of my personal preference. Like, I don't want their faces out on the internet as much as I can avoid it. I will, except for their birthdays, apparently. But, and just kind of respecting their, just as children, like their privacy. Because right now, like kids don't have, like, especially young kids, they don't have a voice to say, I don't want to be on the internet. And
Yeah.
my little kid face is going to be on the internet for the rest of my life, and I can't do anything about it. My parents weren't smart enough to realize. That sounds really bad. My kids are on the internet, so I'm talking out too
we
tight
all
my
make
mouth.
mistakes.
We
We all
talked
do.
we talked to one guy once, Jonathan Wyndham, who like solo stuff, plays with Kobe Calais, and he was like, "How do you deal with this? Because like I'm proud of my kids, so I want to take pictures of them and show them, but also I could understand that in 12 years from now they'll look at me and be like, why did you post my picture everywhere?' Or they'll look at me and say, were you not proud of me? Why didn't you post my picture
It's a good
everywhere?' So he's like, I feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to let them down in some way. And I was like, welcome to fatherhood.
There is, I will tell you, a middle ground for that. You don't have to post them to social media, but buy your grandparents or your sisters or brothers like an aura video.
But yeah,
Like
I got my
it's
mom one
one
of
of
those. Yeah,
those.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can, whenever you take pictures on your phone, you can just in the app attach them, and they will go to that picture
yeah,
frame.
Yeah, those are cool.
And
Yeah.
that right there, and that way you can say to your kids, "Hey, I did post.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
post."
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say that.
With
I'll
the
be like,
people who care.
I'm only taking
Yes.
this picture because, Nana wants to see you today or whatever. And
Yeah.
he's like, no. And I'm like, okay. So,
Now, do you think that's because he doesn't want to be on the internet, or do you think that's just because he's just going through that awkward phase right now? Where
I don't think he's thinking too hard about being on. Well, actually, he has literally told me, you're going to post that. So don't take it. And I'll say, no, I'm not going to post it. It's just for me. I'm going to send it to your mom or your grandparents or whatever. And then he'll roll his eyes and just like do a pose that's not happy or whatever.
Yes.
Something like that. But I think it's important to at least think about it. I'm not going to totally, I think very young kids, you should definitely keep offline. But,
yeah, totally valid.
my 14-year-old has social media, and that's a whole nother battle to engage with and trying to teach him how to use it properly and respectfully.
At what age did he end up starting to use it?
It was recently, this would have been one of our disagreements.
Yeah.
But, you know, at some point you just kind of have to know like this train's coming for your
Yeah.
kids, whether it's 14 or 18 or 20, when if they ever move out of your house and want to make their own
Yeah.
call, it's going to be there. So there's part of it that's like, okay, well, let me teach my sons the dangers of the internet and social media, and let me teach them the good things about it.
Yeah.
Our foundation is really scripture. And if that's our foundation, then we should all kind of know how to use anything, um, to keep us safe and grounded. But the problem with social media is that you can't always keep your eyes safe. Things pop up, things happen, you punch in something wrong, you'll scroll and you can't help what you see. So those are things where it's like, man, why don't we just like the amount of times I want to throw my phone in the toilet is insane. And then thinking about my kids having that is just terrifying to me. But we teach them the best we can, I think, and we just go with it. I mean, I have the utmost respect for my friends that, aren't allowing their kids to have anything until like they're 18 or whatever. The higher the age, the better. I wish my parents wouldn't have let me have my phone now. I'm about to be 42.
It is really difficult though, because you want to like teach your kid, like it's like I think we all know people who like in college was the first time they had their first struggle in life and they had no idea how to deal with any of it. So as a parent, I'm like, how do I slow roll disappointment into your life? Because I want to help guide you through it, as opposed to you be like out in college or something like that for the first time you experience real disappointment. And it's a constant question of like, all right, you're 14. I'm going to let you get on social media, but I'm going to guide you through it. Should I have waited until you're 18? I have no idea. Is it worse if at 18 you suddenly get open up to this world? I don't know.
Well,
Yeah. There's no answer that just covers
yeah,
100%.
everybody's different. Every kid is different, and
Everybody's
you're gonna
different.
know. You're gonna know, like, based on your child's personality, what they can deal with, kind of with that kind of thing. But also, there are good tools in place. So I don't want to seem like
Mhm.
I am a stickler in the sense that I would love it if they just didn't want their phone. They didn't want a phone at all. I would. That's like my dream.
Yeah.
That's not reality. So I have to know, well, there are things you can put in place on their phones. Like my son has a time limit, and everything's shut off certain day, certain time of the day or whatever. And that includes texting his friends. That includes socials. That includes whatever. I think he can text us and play a couple of games. Otherwise, like go outside and do something or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather.
What ages were you guys when you first got your phones?
When I first got a smartphone,
Or just a phone in general?
gosh,
Because
It's
what
different.
smartphones are today, like, I
Yeah.
feel like just regular cell phones were back during our generation.
yeah, kind of.
Just but on a smaller scale.
Yeah, my first cell phone didn't have pictures though. I
Yeah.
couldn't take pictures.
The Nokia?
Yeah, it was the everlasting. I still have it. Brick phone. Like I dropped it out of a car and it got run over. And we went to Best Buy and I got a new cover for it and I just kept it for another 5 years.
That was the
That's
cool thing
awesome.
where the covers that you could change
Yes.
into.
Mhm.
That's so
It was
oh,
awesome.
man.
I mean, I got my first cell phone whenever I was a junior in high school. But yeah, the cell phones we
It's
got
about
whenever we were in high school, it was still like 10 cents to text someone. So like
Yeah.
it's just it's so completely
I
different
forgot
than
about
like what our
that.
kids have access to.
Okay, I would play Snake. Remember Snake?
Yes. Yep.
Infuriating game.
Oh, the good old Nokias. But, yeah, no, I got mine when I was 16, so it was right before I was able to start
Okay.
driving. It was my dad was just like, "I call you, you answer."
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was definitely a troublemaker, so my dad was like, I gotta know where you're at. I gotta keep tabs on you."
Listen, should we start wrapping down the episode?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The way that we
Whoa.
end,
Oh, you're stealing
I'm
my
taking over.
line.
The way
What?
that we
Do I ask the
end,
first question then? How
you
much
get
are
to
you
ask
switching
the
this up?
second question.
Uh,
Now,
Wow. He's taking
man.
charge. He's taking charge.
Damn.
but going back, the way that we end, just like Devin had said at the very beginning, we ask 5 questions. They are not serious at all. They're not timed, so take your time, think however you want. But Devin, you can go with the first question.
Yes. Hey, Brandon, did you have any backup names for any of your kids? Like anything you almost named them?
Yes. Let me think. My first son, we thought was going to be a girl. They told us the wrong sex. Um, and so yeah,
Surprise.
we had picked the name Rowan,
Yeah.
which could really go either way, I guess. But then when they told us it was a boy, we changed our minds. So yeah, I think For the other one, I don't remember having backups for him, but yeah,
Cool.
one backup.
Nice.
All right. Second question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
Homer Simpson. He's the best.
The best.
He's the
It's
best because
so
he's the
fun.
worst. I mean,
He's the
he's
worst.
the worst dad ever, but they love him and he makes me laugh. The Simpsons has always made me laugh, mostly. So yeah, I got to go with Homer on that.
Sometimes to know what type of father you know you want to be, you have to know exactly what type of father you never want to
Yeah,
be.
that's
And
right.
Homer Simpson taught you
That's
that
right.
lesson.
He's like the worst dad that somehow figures it all out, and he's not.
Peter Griffin's up in that I think as well
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
a certain
Peter's
extent.
worse than Homer. He's. I think Homer's just an idiot, so that makes it funnier.
My favorite parenting advice moment that Homer ever did was there's like a meme or whatever now of it of Bart being like, "Oh, Dad, this is the worst day of my life," and Homer's like, "So far, this is the worst day of my life so far," and that resonates in ways that I do not want it to resonate.
I was gonna say, Devin, I feel like you've said that multiple
This is
times.
the worst day of your life. Well, as of right
Yeah.
now, so
Do you know who I wish
So-
was a dad would be Ron Swanson. I would
yeah.
want him. He would be my favorite dad that's not a dad.
I
He's
mean,
like kind of already a dad.
at the end of the season, he has adopted kid, or yeah, he's like a stepfather, but it's not the same.
Oh, he is? Maybe I didn't watch it that far.
Yeah, yeah. By the end of it, he meets Lucy Lawless's character and they get married, I'm pretty sure. So by the end, he is a stepdad.
Go back.
So it is a good go back and watch. Anyway, next question. Do you have a go-to replacement curse word? Like whenever you're really angry, the kids are around, you're like, I really can't say what I want to say. Do you have a word that you say instead?
No, they learn.
I love how
You
common
just let
this
it
is the
go.
answer. This is
Yeah.
becoming the most consistent answer is like, am I supposed to say a different word?
That's not entirely true. Sometimes it depends on the anger level. If I'm totally
Yeah.
brutally honest,
Yeah.
I remember my kids being very young, repeating words that they should have no business repeating. But generally, I just kind of, I mean, they're older now. They've heard everything from everywhere. They really have. I mean, from shows to movies, they're begging me to
Let
watch
me
all
ask you
this
a
stuff.
question before I ask the next question. Did your guys' parents
Yeah,
cuss in front of you?
not really.
All the
Really?
time. Yeah. All
Mine,
the time.
mine
Yep.
really didn't. If
Mine did not.
maybe my dad would have said a couple of things like if he got hurt or something, but it was never
Yes.
like out
Yeah.
of like anger towards us, I don't think. And it was few and far between. These days, I try to watch my tongue just in general, my just normal speech. If I'm really angry, and I need to make a point, sometimes I'll let it fly. But it's not like, F this and that, every other word. It's just like to make a solid point.
Punctuate it. Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's necessary. Probably not, but it happens. I'm
Um,
imperfect. I'm an imperfect.
that's right.
All right. Next question. Do you have a favorite activity that you like to do with your sons?
Favorite activity, man, there's a lot. I told you at the beginning, I'm not like a sporty guy. So we don't do like, I don't do like sports. Not that I wouldn't, I guess, but it doesn't really come up.
Or toy? What about a
Yeah.
toy or
Well,
just something?
they play guitar, so we do that together. We'll learn songs. That's been more recent in the last couple of years. We'll sit down and learn songs. I'll show them like old Nirvana records, and that's easy to play. And they love hearing the real song and then knowing they can play it. And they like going to.
That's got to be a pretty cool experience to play with your
It's
dad.
great. And, there's that Bill Burr sketch where he talks about divorced dads going to Guitar Center. That's
Yep.
100% me, but I go with them because they want to go and they're just like, let's go to Guitar Center and play all the stuff. So we do that shortly after
That sounds fun.
or maybe during our separation or my divorce, that we got into action figures really, really
Okay.
hard. I grew up kind of nerdy, like comic nerd,
Mhm.
and had all the toys and the Marvel stuff. And that was just my world, and the G.I. Joes and Transformers, all the 80s perfect cartoons and toys. And so when Hasbro started re-releasing or releasing like new versions like of Marvel and GI Joes, Transformers. We started collecting them, me and the boys. So it's gotten to like a pretty outrageous point. We literally have thousands of action figures
Wow.
displayed in their room here, and it became a problem. It's like I've spent a lot of money on action figures, but that was like,
You spent their college tuition.
yeah,
No,
they could sell
no
them all
big
and
deal.
probably buy a couple houses. No, I did that intentionally to find some level of connection with them because I was, for one thing, like those toy makers aren't idiots. They knew exactly who was going to buy them and they weren't kids. They were me. They were the guys that have jobs that remember the nostalgia, like they were
Yeah.
definitely pressing the nostalgia buttons on these middle-aged dudes. And so I would be like, you guys got to buy this one. I remember I have the original figure and this and that. And eventually I had to like kind of back off and let them decide what they want to buy. But they got way into it. They know all of the superhero names. They knew them really early on, and all the Marvel movies. That was a big connecting point for us, and it still kind of is. As they get older, they play with them less, but they're still
Yeah.
like in the world a little bit. Yeah, that's fun.
All right. Last question. You already kind of, normally we do best parenting advice you received, but you kind of already gave us some for the whole co-parenting and all the definitions of that. Do you have a moment of your kid's life that you're most excited to be a part of or to see them like accomplish in their life?
Wow, a moment. That's a big question.
It is. I also have a more lighthearted one if you'd rather have that one.
Let's see. Let's see what my options are. Go with that.
Yeah, yeah. The other one would be least favorite kids show.
Least favorite kids show.
Like show that whenever your kids would watch it, you're just like, this is a piece of crap and I
Most
hate this
favorite
show.
kids show. My most favorite.
Least
Yeah,
favorite,
but
least
yeah,
favorite.
but my most favorite kids show was Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yes.
Okay.
I would watch.
The most obscure music guest of all time, and I loved every one of them.
Yes, my least favorite kid thing is gonna have to be just YouTube. The guys, I forget what the name of that show is, but they're grown men and they're just running around yelling and buying houses and filling them up with bouncy balls and stuff.
Like, dude, perfect.
It's not. It's Dude Perfect is
Or is
more
it
like
Mr.
trick
Beast?
shops, right? Like, and Mr. Beast is, yeah, he's kind of that way, but he's not. Man, I can't think of the name of the show now. My kid would know because he watched
Yeah,
it for a
yeah.
while, and I was like, "You're not allowed to watch this anymore because this is depicting something that grown men don't do." These
Yes.
guys are buying homes to like as playgrounds, and then it was weird. Man, I can't remember what it was called. That's my least favorite. I guess what I'm excited about my kids becoming is I'm excited to see, this is such like a probably boring answer, but I'm excited to see them grow into men. I think that like as the older they get, and I start to see those little things like, I don't know if any of y'all's kids are at this point yet, but I might walk downstairs and realize like one of them just made themselves breakfast. Like, and I mean, like they
Yeah.
made eggs or something. Like they didn't
Yeah.
just pour cereal, or they made it like a really man decision. They decided to wait on something as opposed to get immediate gratification. I
Yeah.
see those little moments and I'm like, this is really cool. It's kind of it makes me feel good like I did something right.
Yeah. I get that.
Or at least like, or maybe I don't know. Sometimes I don't even think it was my doing. Like, where did this come from? How did they know how to do this? Um, how are they this respectful to other people out and about? Where did that come from? So yeah, I think I am excited to see what they become as grown men. That'll be fun and probably kind of sad at the same time. I want them to stay boys. I think it's fun.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
only that could be.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be weird though.
It would be a bit, but Brandon, the only other thing we have for you is just self promotion. So, like, promote your podcast if we want to follow it on Instagram. Where do we listen to it? Self promotion time, you know?
Sure, I will try not to hold back.
Yeah, give it like you're a songwriter also. Like seriously, we just got to know you over the course of this. How do we listen to music? All that good stuff.
Yeah, my My songs are on all the platforms that you listen to songs on. So it's just Brandon Carswell. I don't think there's another one. I just put out a song the other day, and I just release stuff here and there when I think about it. And I think I have some more stuff coming out soonish, this year at least. And the podcast is WorkTapes. This is a podcast where we talk to songwriters and listen to the demo of that song. The next episode we have will be with Natalie Hemby.
That's so cool.
Big songwriter.
Yeah.
I think the last episode we have that's like the most current is with Dave Barnes. I think that's the one. So yeah, you can listen to that wherever you listen to podcasts. Should be easy to find. And also props to what you're doing, talking to dads and creating a whole community on that, and not just cornering it to Nashville anymore. There's so many more dads than Nashville.
All right. See, Justin, it was a good thing I moved to Denver. That's why.
Well, all right. Only for that, but man, I
Only
missed
for
my
that.
friend. I
That's
miss my
fine.
friend.
Your friend was overrated and very nasally.
Yeah.
No, whatever.
Justin, you're
But
still in Nashville,
Your friend
though, right?
was needed mentally.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You're still
I'm in the Murfreesboro area. Well,
Anyway,
Brandon,
yeah.
thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
It was nice to meet you
Yeah.
at that Vendor Palooza, and I'm glad we got to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Appreciate your time. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Brandon.
you.
We'll catch you next
Have
time.
a good night.
Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the episode.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Imperfect Dads Podcast.
And make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us.
The music is provided by the Wildfeathers.
And all episodes are produced and edited by me.
Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.